Thank you for joining our webinar. Go ahead and share my screen here. I appreciate you. Today we're going to talk about planning your jewelry store's 2024 digital marketing strategy. We do these webinars the second Thursday of every month for our partnership with the Edge point of sale system. So we also do webinars periodically throughout the year. So if you want to find out when all of our webinars are going to be, they're listed on our website, GemFind.com. So go ahead and jump right in. If you're not familiar with GemFind, I know a lot of you here are clients of GemFind, but we are celebrating our 25th year this year. I'm approaching my 17th year working with GemFind. So we help jewelers with all things digital, web design. We're a Shopify partner, digital marketing. And since we're an Edge partner, we do integrations with the Edge into Shopify websites, and it's proven to be pretty valuable to a lot of Edge customers that want to have a true omni-channel experience on their website. We also create a lot of different apps and tools, ways to empower your website, such as a diamond search, a ring builder, etc. Let's see here. A couple of our team members at the JCK show. I'm Anthony Arechiga. If you're not familiar with me, VP of Sales and Marketing. Again, coming up on my 17th year here at GemFind, helping jewelers even before jewelers had websites. So it's been quite an interesting journey. We're going to cover several different items here because we really want to help with figuring out how to plan for your individual jewelry store. So we're going to talk about the direction of your digital marketing strategy and also understanding key performance indicators. We'll talk about just a couple brief things, excuse me, about the industry and current trends, understanding your market, developing your strategy, implementing and measuring success. We'll open it up for a Q&A, but I did want to mention, since it's just me today, if you do have any questions, feel free to type them into the Q&A or into the chat, whatever's easier for you. But as I go through information, I'd be happy to answer questions as we go. I'm going to just jump right in. Before diving into the current trends and strategies, we just need to determine the specific direction of the digital marketing efforts. So we need to identify the business goals. Some of our clients, they want to just increase foot traffic to their physical stores. Others might focus on boosting e-commerce sales, and many will aim to achieve both. So it's pretty common nowadays that jewelers are like, I want to, get more foot traffic, but I also want to try the e-commerce. So and it's just crucial to identify these primary goals, because they're going to be different as far as how you measure success. With e-commerce sales, you measure the ROAS, the return on ad spend, and it's pretty simple. It's an easier way to gauge your success. However, e-commerce requires a lot more setup, and so I want to kind of go over some of those things. But in today's day and age, it's really we really need to focus on doing everything in excellence regardless. But I will talk more specific to e-com as well. And tailoring your strategies, digital marketing strategies should be customized based on these goals, like I said. So for instance, focus on local SEO and geo-targeted ads would be more beneficial for increasing foot traffic, or an emphasis more on the online user experience, and digital advertising would be key for boosting e-commerce sales. But a lot of the stuff nowadays, like anything that you want to set up for e-commerce, is also important for getting more foot traffic in your store as well. So we'll talk more about that. Then you want to make sure you understand your KPIs. So different objectives require monitoring different key performance indicators. That's basically how you determine if there's your success rate. So for physical store traffic, KPIs might include the number of in-store events, event RSVPs. We do some of those kind of event campaigns. calls or direction requests from Google My Business and local ad conversions. That would be kind of more for your, lead generation for e-commerce. Again, like I said, you're going to focus on online sales. And also you're going to measure your cart abandonment rates and conversion rates, stuff like that as well. And it's important to really set realistic expectations. So depending on how much you have, set up, you got to make sure that you know that there's going to be a ramp up period. You've got to really get set up properly to achieve results. So just be a realistic, it's important to set achievable goals and realistic expectations based on your business size, your budget, and your market conditions. I know a lot of our clients are like, I want to do e-commerce, but I don't want to spend more than $1,000 a month. And it's not really gonna, usually work pan out unless you have really low, low price points. So we really want to be realistic. And I'd be happy to kind of talk through those things with you if you ever wanted to, just consult with me. I'd be happy to kind of talk through it with you and what the projected ad budget would be for your market. So we're going to go through the industry overview and current trends. So as far as the overview is concerned, after a slight dip in growth in 2022, we're still waiting for numbers for 2023. I think it's slightly down, but the United States fine jewelry market is expected to see continued and steady growth through at least 2026. So there's still a lot of opportunity out there. I think just things have shifted. Obviously, we're all well aware that COVID times were like, really great for the jewelry space, but it's, people went back to work and, it's the people don't have as much, disposable income. So there's several different factors, but it looks like as far as projections are concerned that we're going to see steady growth and 11% growth projected through 2024. And by the year 2040, as much as 95% of shopping will be facilitated by e-commerce. So whether that means buying online and picking up in store, or having a really good website where they get ideas, it's really important to have a really dialed in e-commerce experience, even if you're not selling online. So I would say that making your website just as good as an e-commerce site, even if you're not selling, that's going to be really important. And there's a lot of other things that we need to add into the mix as well. But some of the recent shifts in the industry that I wanted to point out, especially since 2022, or I'm sorry, 2020, the rise of direct-to-consumer brands. And I'm sure many of you have seen the new brands that have come into the space, like R8, Majuri. I'll have a lot of people talk to me about that one, Vry, and all these others. And so what does that mean? It just means that there's more competition, but more so that these brands typically have funding. They have, and more than anything, and since they're e-commerce, they have their digital marketing strategy really, really dialed in. So they've got their brand identity, their social media every single component of their business online is really dialed in. So we're going to talk a little bit more about all of those things shortly. And then also the shift in consumer buying habits. Everything today is about convenience. So finding what they want, or getting ideas online. Also buying from brands that resonate with their values. And so a lot of the younger kind of millennial generation, they are looking to do business with someone that resonates with their values. And these big direct-to-consumer brands have that brand story and their storytelling down really well. And so they're finding these e-commerce brands that resonate with their values, while they might overlook their local jewelry store that has similar values, but they don't know it because the jewelry stores don't really have some of that stuff dialed in, and are, from what I see. So I think it's really important for jewelers to start getting that stuff dialed in. And again, we'll talk more about that here in just a minute. And then also the influence of social media in buying decisions. So I think that's a really big, important factor in selling merchandise is, um, you know, how consumers are engaging with social media and how they're seeing things on Instagram, especially the younger audience, that is informing their buying decisions. And so it's really important as far as the jewelry business is concerned, is to get in front of those that audience, and so you can influence their buying decisions with your merchandise, obviously. So again, we'll talk a little bit more about that. I have a lot of kind of social media suggestions that we'll talk about. So current digital marketing trends. And these are the things that kind of are really dialed in, like I was talking about with a lot of these direct to consumer brands, is having that dialed in brand strategy. So, you know, uh, brand story, brand values, unique selling propositions, also authentic social media content. This is really a big trend right now. Is like, having your social media content strategy really, really dialed in. Email and SMS automation, especially SMS, has really come into the space over the past year, especially. So that's kind of a new thing to be making sure that we take advantage of. Shopify websites. Really, Shopify is really the most popular website right now for a good reason. You can still make the site look like your own site and custom and everything like that, but it has a lot of powerful integrations with email automation and direct integrations into Google Ads, so you can track your sales really well, and it helps your campaigns perform better. There's so many things that really Shopify websites can help jewelers with. Your paid media funnel. So, not just, doing your standard Google ads like in the past, but having a funnel. So that means dynamic retargeting. So if somebody goes to your website, they keep seeing products show up all over the internet after they visit your website and start clicking on products. Also, really just a concrete digital marketing setup. That's really the trends in this space, is like, everything's really dialed in. So we need to follow suit as far as, us in the jewelry space. Next, we're going to talk about understanding your market. So what we want to do is make sure that, before we determine our full strategy, is you know looking at your target audience and doing an analysis of your target audience. So and that includes creating detailed buyer personas. What a buyer persona is, it's like a fictionalized version of someone that purchases from you a lot, or the characteristics of the people that purchase from you a lot. So the way that you can kind of create these personas is create surveys and ask questions about, where they do their shopping, where, like, what social media platforms are they on, what other things help them in their buying decisions, things like that. Where do they live? What's their income level? And then also looking at your sales analytics. So a lot of times I'll look at Google Analytics, I'll look at Shopify Analytics to see where, like, how many purchases are coming from different demographics. I see it quite often, like Google Ads. It's overwhelmingly male, and then social media is more female driven. So I think that looking at those sales analytics and looking at the age groups and demographics is really important to create buyer personas, because if you don't know who you're targeting to, or who you're creating content for, then your marketing is not going to be effective. So you really need to speak to your buyer personas, or your ideal customer profiles. You want to tailor your digital marketing strategies to the different customer segments. So, for example, engagement ring shoppers, young men and women, obviously not exclusively, but that's kind of the bulk of engagement ring shoppers. Self purchasers, young women on Instagram for like lower price points, older women for jewelry, Facebook, older men for watches, search engine marketing, and email. There's all these different gift shoppers. A lot of times for, the excuse me, for Christmas, it's men shopping for women. Again, not all exclusively, but just generally speaking. So I think it's really important to, again, cater your digital marketing strategies to your different customer segments. You also want to make sure you do a competitive analysis. I usually do this for a lot of jewelers because I want to figure out where there's holes and also opportunities for a jeweler to take more market share or dominate their market locally, and as well as online. I find holes in different keywords, and I find I'll use a tool called Keyword Magic Tool, and I'll find keywords that have high search volume but low keyword difficulty that really makes sense for the specific jewelry store or brand. So you want to use tools like SEMrush, Moz for SEO, SEMrush to find organic competitors, Moz to check their on-page SEO. You also want to monitor social media of your competitors because you can learn how active they are. If they're not active, there's an opportunity to drown them out with activity, obviously done in excellence. It's not just about being, bombarding people, but it has to be thought out. It has to be valuable to your audience. So really important to do a competitive analysis to try to understand, again, where there's opportunities, where there's holes. Also, if it's really competitive on one certain keyword, it probably doesn't make sense to do Google ads on that one keyword because you're just going to end up, spending all of your budget on that one keyword. So it's really important to look at what your competitors are doing, what keywords they're bidding on, stuff like that. Again, just want to pause here. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the Q&A. I'd be happy to answer them throughout the presentation. So we're going to talk about developing your strategy. Branding and content strategy. So I mentioned this briefly. So with a lot of new competition in the space who have their branding on point, it's really important for jewelry stores to have their brand strategy dialed in and cater to their target audience. It's pretty consistent where I talk to a jeweler and they're like, get someone in my store and we've got a 90% closing ratio. We have like the best pricing. We have, we educate the consumer, all these things, but they're just telling me that. And they just want the people in the store so those people can experience that. But what would be best is if you actually, had a way to say that on your, in your marketing. And so, what we do for a lot of, especially newer brands, is like create a brand book, a Bible for your brand that informs your overall strategy. So that means, your typography, your colors, but also your unique selling proposition and your brand values and all of these things. So that way you can then disseminate out that information through all of your marketing channels. And brand storytelling. So establish a unique brand story that resonates with your target audience. This could involve the history of the store, the craftsmanship behind the jewelry, or the values and ethics of the brand. So I think it's really, really important in today's day and age to get this across to your ideal customers. You want to have consistent branding across all channels. Ensure that your branding is consistent across your website, social media, and your physical store. This includes the colors, fonts, logos, and messaging, like I just described. So, and then also content strategy. Utilize social media platforms to engage with customers and tell your brand story. Create educational content. Provide valuable information to your customers. One thing that we need to understand is not everyone is ready to buy at that moment, especially when they first learn about you. So it's important to also create educational content, people that are at either the top or middle stages of their buyer's journey, because most of the people that learn about you are in those stages. They're not like ready to buy for a couple months at some time. So it's really important to not overlook that audience. Otherwise, they might look to purchase from someone that's actually helping them with their purchase and helping to educate them. So creating that educational content is really important. And sometimes it seems like it's just too much work, or it just doesn't seem like it's effective, but it is. It's just that, people aren't inquiring from educational content, but it is important for their buyer's journey. So also high quality visual content, since jewelry is a visual product. Make sure you use high quality images and videos, and that's essential. Again, we're going to talk a little bit more about social media and what kind of content you should be creating for the platforms. Um, Website optimization, obviously it's really important to have a visually appealing, but also easy to navigate, mobile friendly website. It's also important to match your brand identity, like we just discussed. Also utilize landing pages. This is something that not a lot of jewelers are doing, but create landing pages for your product collections. Create an engagement ring landing page that helps, as a jumping off point. So your website visitors just don't have to go straight to products, because again, not everyone's ready to buy right away. Like they can learn about the different styles that you have and the different designers that you have, all on one page about engagement rings, wedding rings, diamond jewelry, and have a different page that highlights um, any of those collections. I also recommend holiday gift ideas landing pages, because a lot of people, they search for that, like what kind of, what are Valentine's Day gift ideas I could get for my wife or significant other. So holiday gift ideas. So creating landing pages is an important part of website user experience. um, SEO best practices: make sure to do keyword research and subsequent optimization with individual pages for each keyword. Next slide's more about SEO, so we'll talk more about that. Strategies for effective product display and descriptions online. So, I think you'll see on e-commerce sites how dialed in their product experience is. Like they've got videos, they've got the kind of renders or photos of their products, but they also have a picture of someone wearing that item. And so having spending effort on your products, which is the most important part of your business, is your products. I mean, as far as that's what you're selling. So it's really important to spend a lot of effort there. And why not? Like that's how people are shopping today. So, like I think that some jewelers just like, hey, I want to just get products from my vendors or whatever. But if you really want to have good success, it's really important to spend effort on these things. We also want to make sure that we reduce friction in the buying process. So we don't want to have to, like, the price point's too high, so there's no other option. So I have financing and installments. It's really easy to incorporate Affirm and Shop Pay and Klarna and all these other installment tools that are really easy to integrate into a website, especially Shopify. So having those financing installments will increase your conversion rate and your average order value. Simple and distraction-free checkout process, and then straightforward shipping. Make sure that we have all these things dialed in. So again, we can reduce the friction in the buying process. One other thing that I declined to add here, that I should have, is a live chat. A lot of people or consumers, when they're making a purchase, they're going to actually have questions before they make a purchase, especially if it's a higher end purchase. They're going to probably have a lot of communication with you before they make that purchase. But if there's no way for them to get in touch with you easily, they're going to go to some other website that has better customer experience. So one other big thing that I would make sure that we add to the website. As far as search engine marketing is concerned, there's obviously two components to search engine marketing. There's the organic side, and then there's the paid side. Organic SEO, we want to make sure we first identify keywords that have high search volume and low keyword difficulty. The way you do that is using keyword research tools like SEMrush, which is my favorite one to use, because they have a report called Keyword Magic Tool where you can type in any keyword, and it'll give you other suggestions of keywords, or what they call broad match. And so if I look up the term engagement rings, it'll tell me, hey, black diamond engagement rings has a keyword difficulty of a 17 out of 100. That means how difficult is it to get ranked on that keyword? While engagement rings has a 90 out of 100, this one has a 17 out of 100, but it also has 15,000 searches per month. So it's really important to do your keyword research. If you also want to do it locally, you can just type in engagement rings and then your city, or jewelry store, your city, and then it'll tell you how much search volume there is for those types of keywords and what other keywords are potential keywords to optimize for. Once you determine your keyword strategy, then you want to create dedicated landing pages for a lot of those keywords, or optimize collections with those keywords, and then also optimize products for the longer tail keywords. And then we also want to make sure that we have an effective blog strategy. We use that same tool to find blog topics. There's an option on SEMrush where you can look up a keyword and then use an option to have questions. So like, um, this is a random one, but we've written a blog about this. A lot of people ask the question, do men wear engagement rings? And on that report, it'll say, hey, this has like, 30,000 searches per month. And again, keyword difficulty percentage. And so we'll write a blog topic optimized for that exact question. So it could be pretty effective. Somebody asked, is there a particular email platform recommended by GemFind that integrates with a Shopify website to allow for effective retargeting? Yeah, so Klaviyo, for sure. Klaviyo is the best email platform, integrates with Shopify really well, and it also does automations. So like, you can have your welcome email sequences and abandoned carts, all that stuff, which I'm going to talk about here in just a minute. But yeah, so I would recommend Klaviyo for whoever asked that question. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to type in the Q&A, and I'd be happy to answer them throughout the presentation here. Paid strategy, we want to, obviously look at Google Ads. For e-commerce, Performance Max are the type is the campaign structure that works well for e-commerce. In addition to other types of campaigns, but Performance Max will have your shopping, it'll have display, it'll have search, it'll have all these other different types of campaigns with that encompass Performance Max. And search and map for local traffic would be the type of campaign you would want to set up. Additionally, Bing ads, I bring this up, it's, not a lot of people use Bing, but for some reason, the older demographic uses Bing, and there's a lot of people with disposable income that are using Bing. Oh, Thomas was asking, how do you spell Klaviyo? It's Klaviyo. And then Sylvan was asking, besides Klaviyo, is there an email platform that also integrates with the Edge? Unfortunately, no. I think Edge only has integration with Snap Retail. But what I would suggest, though, is if you end up doing a Shopify site and you have the Edge integration, you can have the bidirectional integration where the customers get transferred into Shopify, and then Klaviyo is integrated in Shopify. So Klaviyo ultimately, through that channel, will be integrated with Edge. So just, a tidbit of information there that may be helpful. All right, feel free to ask any other questions, and I'll be happy to answer them as I see them come in. Social media marketing. Social proof is really the key to overall digital marketing success. And what that means is like, how much, how much should or how much is the trust factor for that specific business? Social proof is really the key to overall digital marketing success. So I would say consider this when creating your digital marketing strategy, because we want to show that there's engagement there and your followers are growing, and that you're getting user generated content, or reviews, or people are posting, I bought this engagement ring from this so and so jewelry store, thank you so much, and then you can repost that. That's social proof. Other forms of social proof are like reviews, getting featured on press. Those are all other forms of social proof that will help improve your success on your website and digital marketing. Um, so as far as social media is concerned, make sure to choose the right platforms based on where the target audience is most active, such as Instagram for the younger audience, sometimes Pinterest. Obviously, the younger audience is on TikTok as well, but if you had to choose one, Instagram does Reels similar to TikTok, so I'd say start with Instagram and then move over to TikTok. But if that's your demographic, Instagram can also encompass a little bit older as well. So I would say Instagram is going to encompass more of your probably ideal customers for most jewelry stores. Facebook for the older audience, and then make sure to create authentic content. It's extremely important to create authentic content consistently in order to engage the audience. And this, I see this a lot. I just say reposting from designers is really not effective. Instead, take your own photo or video of a designer piece. I know that it seems like it's could be a daunting task if you're not doing a lot of social media content currently. What I suggest is just, have one of your staff members or um, take a bunch of photos or videos, actually would be better, of items in your showcase, and just do it like in a weekend, and take 50 videos or more, and you can schedule that out. You can have a reel every single day, that you took all on one day. So I think that you just got to strategize on how to make sure that you're creating authentic content. And I said, utilize short form video content, reels, in order to become more discoverable. When you do a search on Instagram, everything that shows up in that search is typically, or the majority of it are reels, because that's the most discoverable content out there. If I were wanting to, increase my engagement and visibility, I would just focus 100% on reels instead of images. Maybe you can sprinkle an image in there, and then also obviously stories. Once you start building your audience, you want to keep your stories consistent and with like questions to engage your audience, like which ring do you like better, A or B or whatever. So ask questions to the audience, like I just mentioned. Don't post images with white backgrounds. Followers look at images with white backgrounds as an advertisement, and they'll ignore it. So this will affect your ability to get engagement on your account overall. So definitely like try to stay away from the white backgrounds, and utilize smartphones like newer iPhones and Google Pixels, so to create authentic content. Um, and I have a social media recommendations guide on the last webinar. A lot of people asked for it, and I'd be happy to email it to you. And I'll give my email address at the end. It's anthony@gemfind.com. But if you care to have some ideas for social media, like, these are some really great types of videos, posts, like just showing rings in a jewelry box or showing rings on a finger. These are like, this is not really that difficult to create. Um, and it's just so much better than just an image on a white background that looks like an e-commerce website. These are examples of product shots, and some examples of short form video content. And like one of my clients, they get a lot of engagement on their social media. They're more of an e-commerce store, but a lot of their videos are just them opening up a jewelry box with with a really nice estate ring on in the box, and tons of people are like, "Oh wow, this is so beautiful," and hundreds of comments every single time. So doing that short form video content could be huge for jewelry stores if you just do it right, and you just, again, figure out a strategy where you can just take all these videos in a weekend and then schedule them out for a couple months potentially. um, Email marketing, it's really important to build your email list, because it's one of the most effective ways to monetize traffic from site visitors. you know I think everyone's looked at email in the past as like just email blasts, like oh yeah, I'm behind on my email blasts. But really, nowadays it's about having welcome offers and getting people to sign up for your email list, because especially if you're spending money on getting people to your website, you want to make sure you convert them and monetize that traffic as much as possible. So get them into your email funnel. And then utilize automation. Like I said, Klaviyo is a great automation tool, and you can create welcome email sequences, abandoned cart sequences, abandoned views. So if somebody clicks on a product and they, maybe 3 times and they don't purchase it, you can send them out reminders, or you can send them out an offer. Birthday emails, anniversary emails. So if you, once they sign up for your email list, you can send them out a survey and ask for their birthday and anniversary to give them some incentives for those days as well. Another thing I would say about email is segment your audience for maximum effectiveness. You don't want to just send the same content to every single person. Like if you're sending, pendants to someone that's shopping for an engagement ring, it's not going to have, very good engagement or open rate. And make sure to provide value in your email blasts. So education, doing newsletters, and new product releases, product promotions as well, but geared towards the right segment. So again, like also you're not going to show a men's watch to, a 25-year-old female that is interested in, shy creations or something like that, and also in-store events is a good way to use your email marketing. And some of our clients, they do kind of more VIP events, so having a VIP list, and then also incorporate SMS. This is becoming more and more common. I don't know if anyone here does a lot of online shopping, but nowadays, in order to get your 10% off, you sign up for their email list, and they're like, okay, sign up for SMS, and now you get your 10% off. So, but it's been really effective. So you got, Joseph was asking, is Klaviyo similar to Constant Contact? Similar, but Klaviyo has a lot more automations. It's really the preferred platform for e-commerce, because again, it has all of those different flows that you can create. Like Constant Contact's more geared towards doing e-blasts. Same with MailChimp, and they could each do a little bit of automation, but not nearly as much as Klaviyo. Klaviyo also has SMS built in as well, so you can do text message automation as well. We're going to talk about implementing and measuring success. We want to make sure we create a realistic and actionable digital marketing plan with clear objectives and timelines, and organize a team, figure out what internal resources and what aspects may need to be outsourced. So, you might have someone that can take the videos and content, but you don't have anyone to schedule it out. So, maybe you look for a resource for something simple like that. Maybe you have someone in-house that, knows social media ads, but they don't know search engine marketing. So, look for resources for that. The benefit of an agency is just that we have a lot of resources, and, you pay like a fraction of what you'd have to pay like an internal resource in some cases. But sometimes, it's like social media content. It's really hard for an agency to create that content. So there's different ways to use agencies that could be to your benefit. So I just recommend figuring out your internal resources, what are their strengths, and then what do we need to outsource. And also determine your budget. The total digital marketing budget is typically a percentage of the overall marketing budget, which is, in turn is a percentage of your total revenue. Common guideline is allocating around 7 to 8% of your gross revenue to marketing, and of that about 50% to digital marketing. It's growing though. A lot of our clients, they spend 80% to digital marketing, or sometimes even 100%. And I think that they don't really feel, like they're missing out on the traditional marketing. But those percentages can vary greatly depending on the business size and growth stage, and also the market as well. So, there's some markets that maybe like a magazine ad makes sense. You never know. But and then, analytics and measuring success. Make sure to track your KPIs for each digital marketing channel. And then some of the tools for tracking and analyzing metrics would be Google Analytics, Shopify reports, looking at your CRM data, because you want to see like, okay, how many people that actually purchase in store found us from a Google ad or from SEO, et cetera. or social media. So it's actually, we're looking into a way to integrate Edge into Google Ads, but um, uh, something that we're working on this year. But for now, ask clients how they found out about you, because that's just the only way to do it right now with Edge, in this space anyway. So use data to refine and adjust the strategy. If the CPA is high or cost per acquisition is high on one channel but not on the other, lower your budget on the high cost per acquisition channel and raise on the other. So, it's really important to analyze the data and, find someone that can help you really understand that data so we can make those, educated decisions. So yeah, that's kind of like mostly what I wanted to cover. I just mentioned some reasons why Shopify is really a great, option today. Things like integrating right into Google Shopping and stuff like that. Did have one question here. What kind of tools do marketers need to be more adept and effective to respond to changing consumer demand specifically online? Tools, I would say, it's like I said in this presentation, it's about really dialing in every single aspect of your digital marketing. So it's not really one specific tool, but it's, Klaviyo is a big one, doing the SMS, but really like I said, your brand strategy, your social media, getting that really dialed in. Um, if you're not doing any of those things, but you have one other part of your business running really well, it's not going to perform as well. So if you got your Google Ads and your SEO really dialed in, but you have no social media solution, like you're still losing a lot of business, because most people that find you in whatever way, through through search engine, through wherever, they're going to go and find your social media and follow you. And then if they find out, hey, this jeweler doesn't really look like they're doing much, are they even relevant? They go and find someone that just looks more exciting and engaging. So I just think that there's not one specific tool, but it's just a mix of all of those different things. Um, a couple other reasons to use Shopify is, Facebook shopping feeds. Again, it's got like installments built right in. So really bullish about this solution. As far as, just to summarize, digital marketing in 2024 needs to be done in excellence, but also requires being nimble with the ability to shift into areas that perform best for your target customers. But the businesses that have the most success have their entire strategy dialed in, like I mentioned, which is the direct-to-consumer brands and really all the most effective jewelry stores as well. Marina was asking, what AI tools are you aware of that can help analyze the stats to create a single view of marketing and brand effectiveness? I don't know of any AI tools specifically, other than, you can use ChatGPT to upload a spreadsheet, and it can analyze spreadsheets. And then Google Bard could actually read the internet and analyze your website for you. ChatGPT doesn't read the internet, but Google Bard does. So there's a couple AI tools. As far as analyzing the stats and creating a single view, I think that there's other tools that may not incorporate AI, but they can pull in data from different sources, like Whatagraph is one that we use internally, and that just pulls in all, like, shop data, Google Analytics, Google Search Console, Facebook, and Meta, all those different things all into one report. Um, so I'm just going to put my contact info here. Again, feel free to ask any questions, but just wanted to put my contact info here. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, Anthony@gemfind.com. Be happy to email you those social media guidelines. And then you can also call me here, 800-373-4373, extension 115. But again, Anthony@gemfind.com. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and be happy to answer any additional questions. And like I said, if you go to our website, gemfind.com, we do have a lot of webinars that we host every month. Sometimes a few times a month, sometimes at least once a month because we do these for the Edge. But thank you so much for your time. If I actually, it looks like I got one more question, a couple more. Jess mentioned, what was the program you just said you used internally? Oh, that's Whatagraph. Whatagraph is a tool that pulls in data from various platforms to put it all into one report. There's also Google Looker Studio, but you have to do a lot of that stuff manually. Whatagraph is a little bit easier to use. And then Thomas said, awesome job. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate that. Craig, hey, Anthony, will this webinar be available to watch after it ends? Yes, Craig, we'll send it out most likely early next week. So we'll send a recording. And then someone asked, should we join whenever every new social media platform comes in? Um, oh, I would say you can have a profile, but my suggestion is to focus on the ones you can focus on the most. Like, again, the ones with the most volume is going to be Facebook and Instagram. If you had to choose, and you don't have those really dialed in yet, focus on those ones because that's where where you're going to get the most traction. Um, TikTok, Thomas asked, what about TikTok? TikTok is good. Again, it's mostly like really younger demographic. So if that's your target audience, use TikTok. But I mentioned Instagram has Reels, which is similar to TikTok. So a lot of people that use TikTok also use Instagram. So if you had to choose one, I would say Instagram if you don't really, again, have that dialed in. But if you do and you have your Instagram doing great, then yeah, start doing TikTok videos. We have one of our team members here, Kyle, that he does like digital marketing education videos, and he has like 18,000 followers just from doing that education stuff. So TikTok is great for like short form education content. There's some jewelry businesses on there that get a lot of visibility. So I would say definitely if you have the time, and again, if your Instagram is already doing well, then I would say you could move over to TikTok as well, in addition to Instagram. But I wouldn't just do it exclusively instead of Instagram, if that makes sense. All right. Any other questions? Give it about another minute or so. Really appreciate everyone's time in spending, almost an hour of your day here with us. Much appreciated. It doesn't look like we have any other questions. So yeah, we'll go ahead and end this. But thank you again so much for your time. Feel free to reach out to me anytime if you want a copy of the slides or the